What's up, everybody? It's that time of the week again. It's time for another Seattle Seahawk rooting guide. For week number 7, we're starting to get a really firm idea of which teams need to be monitored as a Seahawks fan going forward. We're starting to really hone in on what matters here and what doesn't matter. And with it, the rooting guide becomes kind of easier with each passing week to decipher. So let's jump in here, starting with this Thursday game later today. Jaguars at Saints. This is a big one. We are pulling big time for Jacksonville, AFC on NFC. New Orleans, if they lose this game, you got to start questioning them a little bit, right? They're going to be 3-4 at that point. That division has two teams in it that are threatening to at least linger around, and it's going to be really hard for that division to produce multiple wild cards because they are going to beat up on each other a little bit. And when they do play outside the division, we've seen how suspect they are to lose to those teams, like the Saints losing to the Texans, the Falcons losing to the Commanders. Those are not games that you should lose if you're a really good team. So this Saints team, which I have stuck by pretty adamantly during this season, that they're going to win this division by hook or by crook, it'll be time to start wondering. And if the Saints miss the playoffs, that's one more playoff spot for the Seahawks. The third round pick we're getting from the Saints looks even better. And I mean, there's a little bit going on here. This is a very juicy game that I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on Thursday evening. So check it out later, and we are Jags fans for a few hours tonight for sure. All right, now we get to Sunday. There's no early morning game, which I appreciate. I usually don't even watch most of the early morning game. So we start at 10 a.m. Raiders playing the Bears. Um, it probably doesn't matter, right? The Bears, like if let's say the Bears win this game, are you suddenly thinking, oh, the Bears are good, the Bears might make the playoffs? No, you shouldn't. If you do, then I don't know what to tell you, but stop checking under your bed for monsters all the dang time. Um, Technically speaking, though, we should want the Raiders to win because they're an AFC team and the Bears are the NFC team. It's just really hard to imagine the Bears winning a game at home against the Raiders, against maybe Aiden O'Connell, by the way. A game that, honestly, if Aiden O'Connell's in, they should probably win. And then suddenly going, okay, we're going on a run now. That's probably not going to happen. Browns, Colts. We do play the Browns this year. Browns are coming off that very emotional, tough, hard fought win against San Fran. I think, yeah, I think we want the Colts to win. I'm sorry, the Browns to win. We want the Colts to lose. We want the Browns to have as many wins as possible when they play us, and we also want them to have a strong strength of schedule for our purposes. So, yeah, I think we want the Browns to win. Don't see any reason why we would think otherwise. Bills at Patriots, nothing there really. I can't think of any angle. I guess if you want to trade for a player from New England, you want them to keep losing, but realistically, I don't even know if there are that many. I found 2 players on New England that might be fun to trade for. That's it. So I'm gonna say root for whoever you want to root for in Bills Patriots. Commanders Giants. As much as I'm not really afraid of the Commanders anymore, I would love it if the Giants could start accelerating their demise. Like, it's hard to believe a team that is quarterbacked by somebody as bad as Sam Howell. And don't get it twisted, he is bad. He's on pace. Somebody posted this in my Twitch chat the other day. He's on pace to get sacked almost 100 times this year. Like at a certain point, you can't put that on your offensive line. He's terrible. But the Giants are already pretty much in the toilet, so if they want to sink the Commanders in the toilet right next to them and just take care of it as early as possible, that'd be great. So yeah, I think we want the Giants to win. Falcons Bucks is interesting. Two NFC South teams that are not that good but might be just good enough to linger around because of their weak schedule. This one, Baker might not play, which is an interesting factor here. I feel like the Falcons are a bigger threat for a few different reasons. So I'm going to say we want the Bucks to win, and we're going to say there's a better chance the Bucks get taken care of later down the line. Atlanta, we need them to pile up losses in games like this because I feel like they're just going to be hanging around. Tampa, as much as they are doing some things well this year, as much as they look pretty decent so far, if you told me that Tampa Bay just completely falls on their face and ends up winning 5 games this year and doesn't even come close to the playoffs, I would be like, yeah, that's not shocking to me. But the Falcons, I don't think they're going to go away that easy. So let Tampa Bay get a win here, and I think there's a decent chance the demise hits them eventually. Lions Ravens, another kind of notable one. Although Lions, we're not we're not really in competition with the Lions at the moment. We could be. Eventually, we could be. We'd have to win the division. We'd have to have a really good record. We could eventually end up in competition with the Lions, and we're even it doesn't even matter for strength of schedule because we're playing the Ravens and the Lions this year. Well, we already played the Lions, so yeah, Ravens to win. Um, we're also playing the Ravens pretty soon here, so the more wins they have, the less desperation they're going to feel when they play us. So, yeah, this is a game that we're going to monitor very closely and hope the Ravens find a way to win. Okay, that gets us to the afternoon slot. We've got 3 games, not a heck of a lot going on. We've got Steelers, Rams. That's a pretty clear one right there. If the Steelers could kindly push the Rams down a little bit here, just we just need a few losses to stop taking them seriously. Like, come on, push them to the point where Matt Stafford says, you know what, screw it, I'm going to retire. Push them down to the point where Cooper Kupp says, you know what, I'm just going to go on IR. Like, stop letting them linger around like this to where they think they're going to be something good this year. So this is a very important game because this is a game that could absolutely go either way. You can see that Vegas is basically just giving a 3-point advantage to the home team because they think it's evenly matched. So we need the Steelers to come through big time here. Packers, Broncos. Um, usually we root against the Broncos because we might have their 3rd round pick, but honestly, I think that's going to be overridden here. I think we want the Broncos to win this game. The Packers, while they don't look that good, they're 2-3. They could get involved in a wild card race in the NFC easily. Eh, they're not that far away. They're losing some close games right now. They lost close games to Atlanta and Las Vegas. So if they could take the L this week, I think that's worth a lot more than a Broncos loss. So yeah, I think we want the Broncos to win here. It's just worth more to get an L in the to get another L to an NFC team. And like I said, we're not getting the Broncos 3rd round pick. They're nowhere. They're way too bad. They're just way too bad. This might be the last game they win this year. Honestly, looking at their remaining schedule, looking at the way that team is about to be gutted, yeah, I don't see it. Chargers, Chiefs. I mean, the only thing of real note going on here is that if the Chiefs win this game, if the Chargers lose, it's really pushing the Chargers into a sense of desperation. But I'm just trying to think of a way that that affects us. Nothing really comes to mind, right? Like, the Chargers, I think if they continue to lose, they're going to fire Brandon Staley at some point, probably this offseason, maybe in the middle of the season. I don't know. Does that affect us? Do they go after Shane Waldron if Shane Waldron closes the season out strongly? Maybe. Am I going to be worried about that? Not really. Uh, um, yeah, I'm not really feeling this one. So, whichever. Root for the Chargers, root for the Chiefs, whatever outcome you think serves you the best. Personally, I'm just going to kind of sit back and hopefully get a good game out of that one. All right, we got 2 really easy ones to close this out. The Sunday night and Monday night games. We got Dolphins at Eagles. No doubt about it. We want the Dolphins to find a way to win this one for sure. The Dolphins being good has no real effect on us. And if Philly loses 2 in a row, then it's starting to feel like something nice could be happening here, where we don't have that super juggernaut in the NFC the way we thought we did. Like obviously, then the Niners would be the clubhouse leader, but they just lost to the Browns. So can you even really say that? But if we could start showing that the gods can bleed a little bit, then I think that would be the most desirable outcome by far here. So yeah, we're rooting for the Dolphins and Niners Vikings. This one's a slam dunk as well. Vikings, even though they've won a couple games here, they are they're not doing nothing this year. I'm not worried about it. So the Niners, if they could lose two in a row as well and lose another game to a team that isn't even that good, like by the way, this is possible. Who knows who the Niners are going to have back this week? We know they lost, I think, Debo, McCaffrey, and Williams in that game. Let's see how many of these guys they get back for this game. Could be something worth monitoring. And that's all the games. There aren't a ton of games this week. We have 6 teams on the bye, and that's how I see it. So mostly straightforward stuff, but definitely worth covering. See you guys later. Stream later tonight. Go Hawks, and yeah, that's your rooting guide for the Seahawks in Week 7.